Hello, my lovely students. It's wonderful to be back. I did promise to you in my earlier video that I would be back again with some more tips on how to increase your stock of words and your English speaking skill. So here I am once again. This time I'm going to speak about something very important. If you can master it, then I believe you will avoid sounding formal. Your language will be far from sounding stilted, and you will be a natural speaker. A lot of times people are afraid to use these because they seem very complicated and difficult to master. And I get asked all the time by my students, "Madam, is it absolutely essential to use these in our day-to-day conversations?" My answer to them is yes. It's an absolute must. So what is this mysterious thing which I keep talking about, referring to as this? Well, this is nothing but phrasal verbs, and if you can use these phrasal verbs confidently, then there's nobody or nothing on earth that can stop you from being a fluent speaker in English. Now, the question is, what are these verbs? Phrasal verbs are nothing. These are multi-word combinations. A verb plus a particle. That particle can be an adverb, it can be a preposition. Sometimes you'll find 2 words, sometimes you'll find 3 words. So, why are they so difficult? I keep saying this, they are difficult because to one who is trying to achieve fluency, it appears to be something very, very difficult. It's like a mission impossible, but believe me, once you have mastered it, you've got the hang of it, then nothing is easier. These phrasal verbs can be transitive or intransitive. For example, transitive, I'm sure you all know, is a sentence where a verb requires an object. For example, please bring me some coffee. If you separate some coffee and just say please bring me, it doesn't complete the sense of the sentence, the meaning of the sentence, so it is a transitive verb. So you have to say please bring some coffee, whereas in cases of intransitive verbs, Jack jumped, Sita cried. The sentence or these sentences are complete in themselves. Now, the next question is, why are they so difficult to master? Number one reason is when you try to fish out the meanings by just looking at the verbs, then comes the stumbling block. For example, let's take hangout. Hangout as opposed to only the verb hang. The two are completely different. When you separate the verb from the particle, the meaning changes. For example, hang means, it could mean hanging a picture on the wall, a mirror on the wall. Hang means to hang somebody by the neck. Hang means these things. But the moment you add a particle like out and it becomes a phrasal verb, hang out, the meaning changes. For example, I can say, let's hang out this evening by the poolside. This hangout means you want to chill, you want to relax. Do something which is relaxing. In other words, do nothing much. But the problem is sometimes the same phrasal verb can mean differently. I can also say, shall we hang out the clothes to dry in the sun? The meaning changes completely. You want to peg your washings, the clothes, the washed clothes to dry in the sun and the breeze. Therefore, the difference between hang and hang out is immense. First learners of English make this mistake. Let me give you an example. When students ask me, can't we do without using phrasal verbs and just use ordinary one-word meanings of phrasal verbs? And I tell them, no, you cannot. I'll give you an example, and I'm sure you can see the difference between the two sentences which I'm now going to tell you. The first sentence is, I can talk about being a little bit short of money and say, I'm afraid, Lara, I don't have much money on me today, so I don't want to spend too much. I rather would want to go to a shopping mall, have a look around a few shops, and maybe check for the best prices, but I don't want to buy anything too pricey because that's going to cost me an arm and a leg. If I say the same thing using a lot of phrasal verbs, it will sound like this. I'm a bit short on cash at the moment, Laura, and I don't want to spend too much. Rather, I want to go and have a look around at the shops to see if I can buy some bits and pieces. Nothing too pricey because it's going to cost me an arm and a leg. I don't want that. I don't want to be cash strapped. So look at the difference between the two sentences. The first one, the passage sounds very formal. The second one sounds very informal. Mind you, phrasal verbs are only meant for informal conversations. For example, you can say, I had my tonsils taken out. Sounds very informal, something suited when you're talking to a friend or in a casual way. But if you are with a doctor, if you are in a formal situation, you are better off saying, I had my tonsils removed instead of taken out. That is why, if you want to sound like a native English speaker, you cannot do without the phrasal verbs. Lastly, why is it that people are so afraid of using them from time to time in their daily conversations? The reason is they learn it the wrong way. Majority of my students start to learn phrasal verbs by grouping them according to verbs. Give in, give out, give up, give way, thinking that they might help you. No, they won't. They never do. Because when you add different particles to phrasal verb give, to the verb give, the meaning changes every time. Give in means to give in to somebody's request. Give out means hand it out. Give way means to let somebody pass. Whereas the verb by itself, in isolation, give, means to give somebody something. So you are no good studying the phrasal verbs according to the verb list or alphabetically. What then is the best way, or are the best ways to learn them? The best way to learn the phrasal verbs is to check them out by the list of adverbs or prepositions. Let's, for example, take one such. Out. What is the meaning of out? The meaning of out is there is no more of something. Or another meaning could be something has finished, something has disappeared, something does not exist anymore. Now, try saying it with different verbs. For example, put out, or sell out, or give out. You might find it a bit easier to cope. The fire brigade team took more than 2 hours to put out the flames. The supermarket or the bakery has sold out of bread. I have run out of milk. Let's go to the shopping center and get some. Another way of studying phrasal verbs would be to study them according to the way you might want to use it, according to emotions, according to situations. For example, if you want to learn a few phrasal verbs relating to your everyday business, something which you do regularly, then study some which are business related phrasal verbs and not try and read up phrasal verbs which are related to either travel or health. Don't overwhelm yourself by studying all and sundry. It doesn't help. And be careful. Try and use them in context. That is why my advice has always been to my students, take 4 to 6, maximum 4 to 6 phrasal verbs each day. Look out for their meanings, make sentences, and try to use them throughout the day while you are talking to somebody in English. If they understand you, then you know you've had a grasp on them. If they can't understand you, that means you need some more practice. It takes time. You don't get there overnight. But of course, if you try, there will come a day when you will realize that you have mastered it fully and completely. So good luck with your English speaking skills. I will come back again with more such tips. Bye-bye.